So if you're fed up of looking average like I did a long time ago, then this video is for you, because I'm going to teach you exactly how to get in better shape than 95% of the population in 6 months. Because this is exactly what I did to go from here to here. I put the work in, but I followed these steps, and I'm going to condense them down and give them to you so you can implement them as well. So you can feel better, look better, be your handsome, sharpest, most confident version of yourself. So let's go. Number 1 point, and you know this is bread and butter, is 2 to 3 resistance training sessions per week. When I say resistance training, I mean hitting the gym and hitting it hard. Now, 2 to 3 is actually enough for you to see some decent progress with the gym, given that you're lifting heavy, you're progressing on the compound lifts, and you're implementing proper progressive overload. So you're actually increasing your reps, increasing your weight, making the sessions harder and harder each week, and you've got a good program to fit it. Now, you need to implement these resistance training sessions because this is how you're gonna build that muscle, how you're gonna fill out your frame, and you'll look better, because as much as it is being fit and healthy, you also want to look good as well. Well, that's my prerogative. I want to look good and be athletic at the same time. So this is where the resistance training comes in. And also, it's going to help you build that discipline, because going to the gym week in, week out for 6 months is not going to be easy. So if you can maintain that, 3 sessions every single week for 6 months and do that consistently, your physique will change, and so will your mindset and your discipline. Now, from a physiological point of view, you're going to be burning some really good amount of calories when you're training, which are going to help you stay lean. So if you've got any excess fat, excellent way to lose that fat while building muscle. You're going to be changing your body composition. So you'll basically be building muscle and you're going to be burning fat at the same time. So it's a really, really good tool that you can use, especially if you've not lifted before, and especially if you've got a skinny fat or a fat physique. As you increase your muscle mass, so as you become more dense with muscle, your metabolism is going to increase. Now, the good thing about that is when you have a higher metabolism, it's way easier for you to stay leaner with ease. So if you've got 2 people that weigh the same, but one's got more percentage of lean muscle mass, it's going to be way easier for that person to stay lean than it is for the other person. So keep that in mind. Point number 2 is within the training, you want to aim to build an athletic physique, right? You don't want to be aiming to build like this bodybuilder style physique, because if you go in with that mentality, that's when you're going to start thinking of physical inadequacy. You're going to start comparing yourself with other people because they're bigger and they've got that big bodybuilder physique, and that's not actually what you want. That's not what I want anyway. I want to look lean, athletic, like the Hollywood physique, the superhero physiques that you've seen that are healthy and lean and mean. That's where you want to be, because if you've got a good six-pack, if you've got a good V-taper, you've got the dense muscle as well, but you're lean and ripped, that is in itself a big standout feature. Like if you've just done that, even without being huge, you will be above 95% of the population with ease. Because if you think about it, if you take 100 random people and you look at them and you select them, how many people out of that do you reckon are going to look like this, lean and mean? Not many. So if that can be you, it's an easier way to stand out. So don't get your mind focused on this mass thing of trying to become the biggest guy possible, because I've seen so many guys that are big, but genuinely, in my opinion, I don't think they look that impressive, because there's no vascularity, there's no leanness, there's no definition. You can't see any of the muscle shape or striations, or when they take their shirt off, it's just fat. Like, to me, that isn't that impressive. Whereas someone who's disciplined with their food and they're disciplined with their training and they've built a good athletic V-tape or Hollywood physique, that is way more impressive. And you can see that, when you wear a shirt, you wear a jumper or something, whatever it is, you go to work and you wear a suit, it fits better. Right, your face is leaner. All these things come in when you aim to build that athletic and lean physique. Point number 3 is you want to aim to have protein with every single meal. This is one of the best ways that you can get in better shape than 95% of the population, because not many people have the right amount of protein that they actually need, especially when it comes to people who are training and lifting. You want to aim to have 2 grams per kg of body weight. So for example, if you weigh 70 kg, times that by 2, so that's 140. So you want to aim to have 140 grams of protein per day. Now, even if you're, maybe like 20 grams short of that, that's cool, that's fine. But you want to aim high, and this little hack that I'm giving you, protein with every meal, makes that easier, right? So for example, with me, I'll have protein with eggs first thing in the morning. Then usually second meal, I'll have a protein shake if I'm coming back from the gym, or I'll have chicken and rice or something. And then recently I've been having jacket potatoes on the weekend, so I'll have cans of tuna with the potatoes. So that way you can see I've got eggs, I've got a chicken, I've got a protein shake, and I've got tuna. Nice and easy way to build out my protein intake for the day. Now you want to keep that mentality with you. So every time you go for a meal, try to implement some sort of protein and make it into a habit. Because then when you implement the protein and then you implement your training and aiming for that aesthetic physique, that's when you're going to really see progress in it. And also, protein is a great source when you're in a deficit or you're trying to lose fat, because it's low in calories because it's only got 4 calories per gram compared to fats, which is 9 calories per gram, but it keeps you feeling full. So you can eat more of it while keeping the calories low. So it's a really big advantage. And also, you probably know with protein, it builds muscle, aids your recovery. So if you've had a heavy session, if you're tired, then you want to get that protein in so your body can repair. And even the cells and your regeneration, all that comes through protein. So I can't stress enough how important it is that you aim for this. So if I had to give you an order in terms of what to focus on with the nutrition, number 1 is calories. So you want to aim to get the amount of calories that you want for your goals. Number 2 is actually protein, and then number 3 and 4 is carbs and fat. So calories and then protein. So it's number 2 on the list, and it's number 1 on the list of macronutrients. So definitely prioritize that. Next point with nutrition is actually to prioritize whole foods. One of the easiest things I did to absolutely transform my physique, and it made a big difference to me, is just getting the same amount of calories but aiming for whole foods instead. So instead of buying ready-made meals and frozen meals, and even if it hits your macros, just swap that out and go for these whole foods, right? Go for potatoes, go for rice, go for starches, and legumes and all that stuff, because it's so much better digested by your body, and it's got so many nutrients within it that it's going to help you in your day-to-day. You're going to have better focus, you're going to have better energy, your mood's going to be better. There's actually something called a gut-brain axis, and it's because your gut has loads of little microbacteria within your gut. And if those bacteria are healthy bacteria, then it has an influence to your brain, which actually regulates your mood. So if you're filling yourself with these constant amount of, sugary foods, processed foods, and your gut bacteria is going to be all messed up, which is going to have an impact on your brain. And that's why you feel no motivation. You don't have the drive to go to the gym. You don't feel focused because your gut is messed up. And one of the best ways to fix your gut is to have a good amount of fiber. And one of the best ways to have a good amount of fiber is by prioritizing whole foods. So it's a simple hack which absolutely changes the game with everything. So a couple of things that I've been doing recently to just get my fiber in way easier. Number 1 is to have spinach with my eggs. So in the morning when I'm having scrambled eggs, just throw in some spinach. Another easy one is having a banana before going to the gym. So that serves as a pre-workout and I'm getting my fiber in. So already if you implement that and you have that, 6-7 days a week, you can see that your whole food intake's going up, your fiber intake's going up, and on top of that, you're going to be providing your body with more energy and nutrients. So definitely prioritize the whole foods. And the next point is you want to have an elevated heart rate at least 2 to 3 times per week. The gym is excellent. It's absolutely great to build that muscle, but you're going to be training in a very set, usually heart rate zone. Now, I'm going to put this screenshot here so you can see. There's the different zones that you can work in, and each of these different zones means that your heart is working at a different rate. So for example, if you're in the red zone, then it means that you're going to be going full pelt, really intense. Think, if you're doing a 100-meter sprint or you're sprinting towards a football for a short period of time. Or for example, then you look at, the grey all the way down to 50-60%. That's like when you're going for a walk or you're doing something light like stretching, yoga, something like that. Just very small dynamic movements. That's going to help with the recovery. But what you want to do is have an elevated heart rate, so maybe hard to maximum at least 2 to 3 times a week, because if you don't train your heart in that zone, then it's never going to get used to it. So what you can do, for example, is go for a run, maybe go for a 3k or a 5k a couple times a week. You can do some sprints, so you can do 30 seconds on treadmill, 30 seconds off the rest, and you recycle that. You can play some sports, go play paddle, tennis, football, whatever it is. Try to incorporate an activity where your heart rate's getting high and high at least 2 to 3 times a week. Now, this is important because this is one of the best ways to keep your metabolic age low. So even if you've been on the planet for, let's say, 25 years, if you've been looking after your heart, you can measure your metabolic age, which is the age of your body's processes, and that can actually be younger. So for example, if someone who's 30 is, he's not looked after his health, he's been eating shit, and then at 32 decides to, really dial in and look after his health and start eating properly, put exercise routine in and start training his heart and making the heart healthier, he can actually drop his metabolic age down to 28, 26. It's very possible. So so important that you actually work your heart rate. And this is something that I slacked on, so I'm actually implementing it now, and I want it to be a part of my routine and my weekly routine. And on top of being in better shape than 95% of the population, having a good heart is one of the best predictors for lower mortality. So someone with a healthy heart, which if you do what I say and you train your heart in different heart zones, having a healthy heart is one of the best predictors for long-term living. So you'll actually add more years onto your life just from doing this. And not only that, I found, this could be a little bit bro sciencey, but when you're doing cardio, when you're active with this a couple of times a week, your body just feels tighter. Like when I put a screenshot here, and I think this is one of the best physiques I achieved, and it was through implementation, a combination of doing these runs that I was doing a couple of times a week alongside my gym. And I found my skin, especially around my core, my abs was just tight, like all the muscles were just ripped and shredded. So even from an aesthetic point of view, I think it's really, really good. Now, not everyone likes running, so if you don't like running, I definitely recommend go to like badminton, go to tennis, sign up to some sort of sport, implement it in Muay Thai, fighting, do something 2 to 3 times a week, and I promise you, you will feel a million times better. Now, if you are a professional and you're serious about taking your mindset and your body to the next level, and you want help implementing these strategies, there's a free discovery call you can click, top link in the description, to have a free consultation with me. But that's it from me. Goodbye.